question, Chair. Go on, answer the question.
Okay, Neneen, tell us any memories you have from the war.
Very many. As I was quite a young schoolgirl then, we evacuated to Christchurch in Hampshire, and but after a while nothing happened, so the majority of us came home, and then it all started, but it was too late then to go back again to Christchurch. So we started, the school started up half day, and when Battle of Britain took place, I cycled to school, and it was just after lunchtime, and I started up the road to the school where we were going, and the siren sounded, and I immediately turned my bike round as I was beginning to feel the shells of the from the planes coming down on me, and I've never cycled so fast in my life. It flew into the air raid shelter, much to my mother's relief.
And what were the air raid shelters like?
They were very, very strong, and when they came in pieces, all the fathers had to dig enormous deep holes in the ground, so 2/3 of the base of it fitted underground, and then they were put together, and the excess earth was thrown over the top, and either people soaked grass seed or planted some flower seeds on top, and inside my father made benches down each side, but we couldn't rest our backs on it because it got very damp, so we had to make sure we left a bit of a gap between us and the back, and so that was the air raid shelter.
How many times do you think you ended up in the air raid shelter? Do you remember?
Many times.
Yeah.
Because following the Battle of Britain, when the real bombing started in the town, and that was horrendous. And after each blitz, one or two of my friends and myself went out seeing what size shrapnels we could pick up, and we put them in the garden for a competition. But yes.
And do you remember any planes coming down near you?
No planes coming down, no. But we one night only we heard the ACAT gun coming along our road, and the noise from that was something. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what was food like during the war?
Food? Although it was scarce, we all had a good diet, and we didn't go hungry. My mother, and I think most mothers, rationed it out between us all. Yes, it was good. The only thing we all missed was sweets, of course, especially chocolate and bananas.
And how old were you when the war finished, and what were your memories of finding out when it finished?
Well, I left school as soon as I was 14, and I started a job, and the war went on to. I was out to work, I know. And so we celebrated VE Day and VJ Day. Yes. We went in the park and danced in the parks and sang. It was a wonderful feeling. But my memory of seeing the sorry.
No, that's all right.
The troops.
Coming home
from the Far East. They were just like skeletons on lorries.
Yeah.
All for sight.
Okay, Neneen, tell us that story about your daddy then.
Well, when war broke out, my father had to work for he was too old to be called up for the army, so he worked for a factory where they made pipes for the Navy and other places. And also he was, in the evening, had to join the ARP. And this particular night the siren went outside. He had to patrol up and down the road to make sure everybody was safe and the lights were all out. And he came back towards our house and the neighbour called out to him, "Quick, quick, I think something's hit the roof." So with that, my dad didn't think, and they said, right, and went charging in. Where did you think it was? So she pointed to the upstairs in the bedroom. Dad flew up the stairs, and on the bed lay an incendiary bomb, and it hadn't gone off. So he immediately picked it up and chucked it out the window into the garden. That was the end of that, as far as we were concerned. Thank God. They thanked my father many, many times for saving their house from burning down, especially as they just had a new baby. So,
So you got on the train.
Yes.
And
got out at Christchurch
yeah,
station.
you had your labels on you.
Yes, and our gas mask.
Yeah.
And our suitcase with clothes in. And we were ushered into a school, and there we were shown who the people who we were going to stay with, live with, were there, and they took us off home. And I was very lucky. Well, Mum and my sister came with me to start with, but they only stayed for a fortnight, and Mum was so worried about Dad she went home, and with my little sister. But I stayed on, and the two little maiden sisters, well, they couldn't do enough for me.
So do you remember their names?
Well, they did not say it. Stacy, their name was.
Yeah.
And we lived right opposite the railway station. So it was. They gave me a front bedroom, and they always had, because I was blonde, and they said, "We're not going to allow you to wash your hair in the tap water." So they saved every drop of rainwater to wash my hair. They said that's just right for soft hair. And the things they did for me, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
And how long did you stay there for?
Well, I didn't stay there very long, I'm afraid. Because nothing happened, you see. Everybody thought the invasion was going to start straight away, but it didn't. Nothing happened at all. So a lot of us came home for Christmas, and I was going back after Christmas, and then got talking to other school friends and their parents, and we decided, well, we would stay home.
Yeah.
And that was that. But I couldn't have wished for anybody nicer.